All right, let's just get right into it. You know that feeling, right? You've got a shell, you run a find command for SUID binaries, and suddenly your screen is just a wall of text, and you're frantically guessing which one of these is the golden ticket to root. Well, if that sounds familiar, this explainer is absolutely for you. We're going to talk about how to turn that chaotic scavenger hunt into a legit professional workflow.
I mean, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? I lost a shell because I treated SUID enumeration like a scavenger hunt. Ouch. That one stings because it's so relatable. And listen, it's not about being bad at your job. It's about having a bad process. The stakes are super high. Losing a shell because you were just sloppy, that's a lesson you don't forget. So let's learn from it without having to go through the pain ourselves.
Okay, so let's do a quick level set here, just to make sure we're all speaking the same language. SUID enumeration, what is it really? It's basically our hunt for executables that can run with higher privileges, usually as the root user. It's a classic go-to method for privilege escalation. But here's the kicker. Just finding these files isn't the hard part. The real skill is in figuring out which ones are actually useful and which ones are just noise.
And that right there, that leads us straight into the big pitfall. The author of our source material calls it the SUID scavenger hunt, and it's a perfect name for it. This is the mindset that trips us up, especially when we're under pressure.
So what's the trap? It's treating every single SUID binary like it's a winning lottery ticket. You see something with a weird name and your heart starts racing. You immediately jump on it, try some cool exploit you saw on a blog, and nothing. You just blew 15, 20 minutes on a dead end. It's impulsive, it's messy, and you know what? It almost always makes you miss the simple, kind of boring path to root that was staring you right in the face.
Okay, so how do we get out of this trap? Well, it's a total mindset shift. We have to stop being treasure hunters and start acting more like ER doctors. This isn't about finding gold, it's about triage.
And this quote from the source material just nails it. Enumeration isn't the work, triage is. Let that sink in. Finding the files, that's the easy part. A simple command can do that. The real skill, the thing that separates the pros from the amateurs, is what you do next. It's about quickly, efficiently, and accurately deciding which of those files is actually worth a single second of your time.
So here's a little dose of reality that just shatters that whole scavenger hunt idea. First off, most SUID binaries are total dead ends. Seriously, like 99% of them are just noise. Second, you're not hunting for some super rare exotic binary. You're hunting for a boring old misconfiguration. Context is everything. It's way more important than some clever exploit. And maybe, most importantly, if you don't write stuff down, you're going to find yourself in a stress loop, trying the same failed thing over and over again. We've all been there.
Okay, so that's the problem. The old way is broken. It's a mess. So the big question is, how do we actually fix it? How do we stop the frantic guessing and start triaging like a pro?
And the answer is actually beautifully simple. It's called the two-pass pipeline. Now, this isn't some magic one-liner command. It's a workflow, a system, and it's designed to bring order to the chaos. Here's the breakdown. It's just 2 steps. Pass 1 is all about inventory. That's it. You spend just a few minutes finding all the SUID and SUID binaries, and you log them to a clean file. No analysis. Don't even think about it. Just list them. Then once you have that clean list, you move to Pass 2, triage. This is where you actually start thinking. You take maybe 10 minutes and you rank that inventory using a checklist. You're focusing on what's actually reachable. And what does that triage look like? It's this simple checklist. This is your weapon. You just ask these basic questions. Is it owned by a privileged account like root? Obvious, but you gotta check. Can you actually influence its input? Arguments, environment variables, files? If you can't touch it, who cares? Does it interact with a path you can write to, like /tmp? And here's the absolute killer question. Can you explain the privilege escalation path in one simple sentence? If the answer is no, you move on. No exceptions.
All right, to really drive home why this pipeline is such a game changer, let's talk about the brutal mistakes it helps you avoid. These are the things that just tank your time and crush your spirit when you're just winging it.
28. That number right there, that's 28 minutes. That's how much time the author of our source material completely wasted on a single dead end. Why? Because they ignored context. Now think about that. 28 minutes in an exam or a live engagement, that's an eternity. It's an absolute momentum killer.
So, mistake number 1, ignoring context. The trap is simple. You see a binary owned by root with the SUID bit and you think, jackpot. But the fix is just as simple. You have to ask yourself, okay, but if this works, what privilege boundary am I actually crossing? Is this thing running inside a Docker container where root means nothing on the host? Is the file system mounted with no SUID? Asking that one simple question can literally save you from going down a 30-minute rabbit hole.
All right, mistake number 2 is chasing rarity. And I get it. This one feels kind of backwards. We see some obscure, custom-named binary, and we get excited. It feels like a secret, a rare find that no one else knows about. But here's the fix, and it's so important. Start with the boring stuff. Seriously, look for the common utilities, the simple wrapper scripts. Why? Because their mechanisms are well understood, you can figure them out fast, and in this game, speed is everything.
17. Here's another number for you. That's 17 minutes saved. Not from some fancy exploit, but from running one clean find command at the beginning. That's it. Instead of a sloppy command that needs to be run again later, they did it right the first time and saved almost 20 minutes. It's amazing how much simple discipline pays off.
And that brings us to mistake number 3, creating noise. Look, your very first command sets the tone for the whole engagement. If you run a sloppy find command and your terminal just explodes with permission denied errors, you're creating noise. You're hiding the signal. The fix is dead simple. Run one clean inventory command. Redirect all that error spam to dev null and log the clean results to a file. Boom! Now you have a solid foundation to work from, not a mess to clean up.
So when you put all of this together, what you get is a fundamental shift in mindset. You're moving away from being that frantic, stressed-out scavenger, and you're becoming a calm, methodical, and effective operator. And listen, this isn't about some innate talent. It's just a set of good habits.
And this flow right here, this is your new playbook, your runbook. It's 5 simple steps. 1, inventory. Just list everything. 2, context. Check for containers, mounts, any weirdness. 3, mechanism. Explain the how in one sentence. 4, budget. Give yourself a strict time limit, like 10-15 minutes, to triage the top 3. And 5, evidence. Log what you did, why you did it, and what happened. Every single step is deliberate. No more guessing.
I think this final quote just says it all, really. It's the difference between saying, I saw some SUID files, and being able to say, I can explain a privilege boundary crossing with receipts. See, anyone can run a find command. An operator can provide actionable intelligence with evidence to back it up.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. The next time you land on a box, what are you going to be? Are you going to fall back into those old, messy habits of the scavenger hunt? Or are you going to step up, apply this pipeline, and tackle the problem with the calm, deadly precision of an operator?